Hi, my name is Marques, and I'll be exploring the topic of communication, pitch, and storytelling. So, you might be an entrepreneur, a teacher, a parent, or a visionary leader. It doesn't matter. The secret to persuasion, influence, and motivation is a formula that is deeply grounded in storytelling. This video is for those who want to know more about designing a unique business pitch through storytelling techniques, ensuring both a convincing and an authentic communication. I'll first start to introduce the art of storytelling as a powerful tool for leadership and communication. Then, addressing the added value of storytelling both for entrepreneurship education and business. And finally, I will be sharing some corporate storytelling good practices. Since we'll be talking about storytelling, let me start to share a little bit of my story. So I'm a researcher at the Platform for Entrepreneurship Education in Portugal. I'm also a professor in social entrepreneurship and impact evaluation, and I've been working the last 15 years in social development and research, both on the public sector at the European institution level and the international non-for-profit organizations, with work experience in both developed and developing countries. I'm also a co-founder of Life Stories, an organization that is devoted to help individuals, families, communities, and organizations to preserve their valuable memories and life stories. So, why is storytelling such an important tool for communication? If you're trying to get others to see what you see, whatever your objective might be, you need to understand the fundamental role of storytelling. As someone trying to influence and inspire others, you are measured on your ability to tell stories that make others care, believe, and act on what's most important. Experience is usually the best teacher, but I would say that a compelling story is a close second. So, what is storytelling? Storytelling is the intentional sharing of a narrative in words and actions for the benefit of both the listener and the teller. Let's just quickly explore one of the concepts. Intentional means that not everything we do is storytelling. Storytelling is a planned activity and process. So, storytelling is really part of our human nature. We are all storytellers and story listeners. When your colleagues, for instance, ask you about a conference you attended or about how you spent your weekend, you don't start with facts and figures and charts and graphics, the number of people you met or the amount of time you slept. You tell them stories. But what is a story? A story is a basic principle of mind. Most of our experience, our knowledge, and our thinking is organized as stories. Stories are all about 3 C's: connect, collaborate, and communicate. So, all good stories have 5 basic components. The first one is the passion with which the story is told. The second one, we need a hero who leads us through the story and allows us to see it through his or her eyes. Then we will need an antagonist or obstacle that the hero must overcome. And then we need the aha moment, the moment of awareness that allows the hero to prevail. And finally, we need the transformation in the hero and in the world that natural results. So, what are the benefits of storytelling? A quick journey across a range of disciplines and areas outside of entrepreneurship or business reveals a wealth of benefits that stories offer, from making sense of experience to reaching audiences emotionally. Before going further, we may want to consider whether those benefits are also true for business. So when you're communicating with coworkers, customers, or investors, the richness and meaning of your story is what people really buy. We can approach storytelling as a management philosophy, a lens through which to examine business challenges and discover breakthrough insights. So storytelling can be used as a journey in any stage of business development. For instance, team and relationship building, venturing into new markets, conflict resolution, stimulative creative thinking, understanding your client's journey. Stories can be vital to address issues like brand identity, team performance, change, market strategy, innovation, and leadership. Yet, many of us still don't master the art of storytelling and effective communication. Storytelling appears to be less valued in business than in other areas. Storytelling still has a minor role in the curriculum. Students and entrepreneurs are applied charts, graphs, tables, and neglect to find and express the connections among them in a story form. So the problem is that those techniques are touching only the left side of your brain. And if you want to truly engage people, you are going to need more than this. Storytelling in entrepreneurship education has still a restrictive presence, although you can find it in some communication program in some business schools. Some communication courses also include analysis of speeches by public figures known to be great storytellers, like people like Steve Jobs of Apple. So until recently, storytelling was not welcome in business environment, not so anymore. Today, many of the most successful organizations on the planet intentionally use storytelling as a key leadership tool. Look to the examples of Microsoft, Nike, Motorola, 3M, FedEx. Many of these companies have assigned a high-level corporate storyteller to capture and share their most important stories. For instance, at Nike, the senior executives are designated corporate storytellers. Several companies actively teach storytelling skills to their leaders. 3M, for instance, banned bullet points years ago and replaced them with a process of writing strategic narratives. Procter & Gamble, for instance, has hired Hollywood movie directors to teach its senior executives storytelling techniques. So discussions about storytelling are pretty fashionable, mainly in marketing circles. On one hand, this can be very encouraging. For all companies, having a story and knowing that story are crucial steps to achieving success. On the other hand, too many marketeers think that telling their story through advertising is enough. It's not. So it's important to use story in a more powerful way, and they run more efficient and profitable businesses as a result. The author of the recent book, Through Story, How to Combine Story and Action to Transform Your Business, came up with the concept of story doing instead of storytelling. The premise of this concept is that there are two kinds of companies in the world today. So we will have storytelling companies that convey the story of their brand, business or product by telling that story, usually through PR or paid advertising. And then you have the story-doing companies that convey their story through direct action, like IBM, for instance, or Red Bull. You should search on the web the amazing infograph that has been developed by Hoffman Agency that compares the storytelling versus corporate speak. So, telling great stories takes effort. So let's explore some steps and resources that could help you on that journey. So what makes really a good story? You do not want to tell a beginning to end tale describing how results met expectations. That's boring, that's banal. So here are 3 simple steps that you can implement to begin your storytelling journey. First step, figure out your controlling idea. So in traditional storytelling, you can start with a character or a location and let the storyline wander, twist and turn as you explore an underlying theme. When you're using a story to persuade someone about your idea or your product in a professional context, the approach needs to be a little bit more precise. You have to first determine the one idea that you want your audience to remember. So, step 2, you have to include the foundational storytelling elements. So you need to have a strong opening. Start with a strong opening that establishes your theme, which is the meaning behind your story. It should have a direct correlation to your business purpose. You need to have characters and setting. Explain who your characters are, where they are, and when the story takes place. For instance, your characters can include the customer or the CEO as the hero, your product or service as the sidekick, and the situation as the villain. You need the plot. So you need to explain the situation and the conflict that exists. This is the most part of storytelling. The reader can envision living the life of the main character and begin to devise action plans to beat the villain. So you will need the transition. You need to begin to bring an end to conflict by using the sidekick to assist the hero in the battle. The dynamic duo finds the path to success and villain begins to feel defeated. And finally, you need the resolution. So you need to type up any loose ends and reveal the final outcome. It should be clear that success was only achieved through the powerful hero and sidekick combination. But it can be very, very challenging to write a story, especially if the last time you wrote one was in the kindergarten, in primary school, or at high school. So there are several simple techniques that you can explore to strengthen your storytelling capacities. Just a simple one that you can use. Pick up a few objects. You can have a mask, you can have keys, you can have a picture, you can have mobile phone, you can pick up several objects and try to connect them and to develop a story using the elements that I referred previously. And then finally, step 3, you have to practice, practice, practice. If your background is in storytelling, it's important to set up a productive means of getting feedback from your storytelling practice. You'll find several sites with plenty of resources and ideas. There are also storytelling classes and events and books that you can explore. To inspire you, let me share you some of the best corporate storytelling good practices. I will suggest you search on the web the 2 videos named Coca-Cola Content 2020 to give you a detailed insight into one of the world's biggest brands and the breakdown of its strategy through storytelling techniques. Another example, FedEx, brings together technology and craft to tell visual and verbal stories in video clips and blogs that are disseminated across multiple communication channels, including social network media. This has resulted in powerful organization stories. This, in turn, strengthens the culture and builds trust in the organization. So you can explore other good practices, examples such as 3M and many others. Finally, I think it's important to explore the connection between social media and storytelling. The game has changed. We are in control of what we view, what we share, and how we view it. And it's important for all storytellers to explore the potential of the social media to help you to achieve that. So one of the best examples that you should explore is Red Bull. Red Bull is putting out such a compelling content that traditional media properties like NBC are buying the rights to this content. They've completely flipped out the model around as a brand, where the broadcasters are after them for their content. There are several resources on how to use virtual communities and networks to create and share stories. Another concept that is emerging is transmedia storytelling. That is telling a story across multiple channels, across multiple media, and preferably with a degree of audience participation, interaction, or collaboration. We tell stories across multiple media because no single media satisfies our curiosity or our lifestyle. Finally, I would like to leave you a message. As entrepreneurs, you should be storytellers, but also story doers. So, thank you.